Well, collective, I hope you're all getting through the heat. If you're living in the side of the world that is hot right now. So today, June 22nd, 2024, summer solstice energy, Cancer energy with all the emotions started yesterday. Master number 22. So I had some other content I wanted to put on here today, but this one was just really hilarious because Valerie Mean sent it to me, and it made a lot of sense, and it was even more funny because I had some similar thought, but it was a few months ago. But I think she put it best. Today when she said, you know what? She said, life is like a set of breasts, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then she said, there's a term that comes across, and it says, you got to cut them off the teat. And humans kind of stay on that longer than actual, animals in the wild, and even domesticated animals. And excuse me. Oh goodness. But she said, picture the world like this. And I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that what is that? The thing they started doing here in the U.S. with the nurses, with the skin to skin, the lactation. Lactation might appreciate this. Anyone working in that field or doesn't, or can relate. But she said, picture this. She said, take the earth. She said, divide it into two, which are, the north and the south, the hemispheres. And she said, now picture it, now get into the mindset of the quantum, where you're above and you're not in the situation. You're above the situation. So that's why picturing the earth into the two hemispheres, and they have poles. So now picture each one of those halves of the earth as a breast. And now imagine the irony of how third world countries literally only have the breasts to feed off of because they don't have all the first world things we do, like formula and all that. And then first world tries to bring that to third world, and that's all great. But she said, it's funny how America is now becoming more breastfeeding conscious, and that it's very significant, and there's things like milk moms or milk mothers and things like that that happen now. And but she said, now each one of those poles on each hemisphere, picture that as a nipple. And she said, now think of yourself as that baby, and whether or not you can travel or not, but the advantage of the baby is that the mother will hold the baby in most cases, and the baby will go to one breast and feed off one breast. Whenever that breast is empty, the other breast is already filling up, and it's ready for the baby. Now that breast, now it's a magnetism thing, because you see the babies, some people got into this thing where they'll put the baby on the stomach, and I think this is more the recommended thing is, to help the baby's mind make those to start creating that neuroplasticity, to connect the dots and, find your food and not like in a malicious way, but just like just so the baby can make those independent thoughts right from birth, and a lot goes into that. But she was saying how, that baby intuitively already magnetizes to the breast, and the one that probably has the most food, because there's an energetic, physiological, and spiritual knowing of that happening. And I said, that's interesting. I've known about stuff like that, but just the way she's putting it, I was like, it's very funny, and she was laughing more when she told me this, but it was I just found it, very interesting how her mind always just comes with these random things. Because it was very random. I don't even remember what we were talking about before that, because that's how random she pivoted on that track. It came out of nowhere. That's kind of like how the quantum realm is. I mean, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. You don't ever know, You don't know till you know. But, yeah. So, when it comes to, quantum economics and the things of the soul and your spirit, your secret service, that's already with you from birth, and sometimes even before birth, especially for us chosen ones, it's kind of it's just something that's gone on for a long time. So we've had to fight those spiritual warfares and, get our ancestors and all those things right. But, but yeah, she was just saying, how, just picture the earth like two breasts, and then they come together, and then you got the breasts on either side, and it's like Mother Nature's breasts, and we're all here training, and learning, but the thing that gets forgotten is we forget that we're, connected to Source, which would be, the quantum realm, the cosmos, the electromagnetic field of our souls in space, and in the universe, and that's like Mother Nature, that holds us in Earth and whatever other planets are the sets of breasts. They're the other mothers in some sorts, I guess you could say. But she's just explaining all this, and I'm like, it just makes a lot of sense. And I have never been to, the South Pole of Earth, but the interesting thing is that, the scientists that do research in Antarctica, they've been saying for a while now, probably well over a decade, the poles are shifting. And I was like, well, that's one of them big, huge cycles. But I get it. But in a way, you can imagine it like your soul being the baby, and after so long, the energy off the one nipple, has to it depletes, and you got to shift from the North Pole to the South Pole, and then you know, the energy and the whatever that baby needs, the breast will produce it, like all the vitamins, minerals. Like, there's just something that happens on the physiological level between the baby and the breast. Mother really didn't have too much control over it, except for like what she puts into her body, but ultimately the breast is going to produce what it needs to for that baby. So if the baby's sick, the breast will automatically produce a natural medicine into the milk, and it's produced from the mother. Saying that's why they say, you know, they're coming more on breastfeeding, because like, instead of putting, you know, these more man-made you know, chemicals and things into the baby's body, the mother's already naturally producing that through her breast milk. And I knew stuff about that, but it was just funny how Valerie Means was saying, you know, just picture the world like this. She's always really good at those things. She's making the pictures of the world, and I was just drawing one the other day about the universe, and maybe she's seen it and that's where it came from. I didn't ask her, but I just thought it was funny that she said that. But it was like the universe really does give you all that you need, but some of us live longer or have been here or coming in here a lot longer, that we get to that point where, you know, we can shift nipples, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's really one of those things where, you know, I don't do comparisons really, but I just found it very funny and just very, I don't know if you can say it's like, kind of prophetic in a way, that, you know, she said the picture that way. The world is a set of breasts. And yeah, we're just I just found it so interesting, and I think she's not wrong. But this is a different way to look at it, though. But then when I relate that to, like, when I used to do like sport fighting and stuff like that, you know, I'm a right hand dominant, but you know, I had a south pole or I would say south pole when I was in it, but I guess they call it a south paw. But I had more power in my left than I do in my right. And then I was like, well, maybe that's just because I was in the military and we start everything off on our left. Maybe that was it. You know, fighter, all that energy. But, yeah, I just found it really interesting. And I was like, I really don't know what goes on in the South Pole. But it's kind of funny because of the pole shifting and all the other things. I mean, it's just, when you look at it, the bigger, big, you know, universal galactic picture, it's like, did the other planets in our galaxy at one point had a south and a north pole, or maybe they had an east and a west pole, or, you know, maybe it was made of different, and, you know, we got here on Earth we call them north and south poles. And yeah, so I was like, that's really profound. And but she said it, and I just wanted to share that because I found it I'm still trying to process some of it, just because it was so much and she said so little. But I was like, yeah, it's like your soul comes in here and it gets on the teat, and a lot of what I do is trying to get people to feel their belonging to themselves, and to their feeling to the universe, on the quantum realm and the quantum economics, and the spiritual side of it. Um, 'Cause you were spirit first, really, before your soul came in, and you're gonna breathe life anyways, because there are individuals on this planet that are soulless, that they're just there. Um, for whatever lessons, I guess, we need to learn. It's all like that, but there's just some that are more extreme than the other. But it just made a lot of sense when she said it to me, and I don't know if anyone else ever made those weird connections like that, but it was like, you really just picture the world as two breasts, back to back, and it's the Mother Nature's teats, and one's a south and one's a north. And yeah, or you can look at it like, as the mother heads in north, the feet are the south, and then each one of the breasts is the east and the west. The west and the east, or however you want to look at it, but still, just the fact that the breast looks like a dome, and it feeds the kingdom, and the body's, inherits the kingdom, and all these things, and, the earth is like two domes, back to back, and it's like all the things are really pictured as a half sphere, and then as a sphere, and like you can't have one without the other, and it's like your masculine and feminine energies. You can't. It's hard to function when you're not in tune with both of those in a balance. That's that Libra sort of new Scorpio energy, but I just found it really interesting though. But anyways, that's all I have.